Hi and welcome to the live Forex Strength and Weakness Table video. My name is John. I'll be taking you through the charts this Monday the 31st of October. We have two tables in front of us, so you can see with the live Forex Strength and Weakness tables, there's two tables to focus on. We have the Trend Traders table and the Day Traders table. These are showing the same studies but just highlighting different time frames. So our Trend Traders is our higher time frame and our Day Traders is our lower time frame. You can see here some of the currencies are highlighted in green. That is showing that there is confluence between the two trading time frames, and these are where we're going to focus our attention on in this video. The tables auto update every 15 minutes 24/7, so wherever you are in the world you can access the latest update to the live Forex Strength and Weakness tables. What are the live Forex Strength and Weakness tables showing us today? Well, it's showing us that pound remains the strongest currency, being S1 on both tables. That is followed by the New Zealand dollar, which is S2, so the second strongest on both tables, which is followed by Euro as S3 on the Trend Traders and Aussie as S3 on the Day Traders. The weakest currency is the yen, so W1 on the Trend Traders, W2 on the Day Traders. That's followed by the Swiss franc on the Trend Traders, which is W2, and then W1 on the Day Traders. Now you can see here, Euro appears as W3 on the Day Traders. We can see that it is the S3 on the Trend Traders, so it's showing us that there is no confluence between the two trading timeframes. In fact, they're on opposite sides of the tables, which suggests that you should stay away from the euro right now. Right, we're going to jump into pound yen first. There's no notable news for today, although it is a high impact news week, but there's no notable news today. So we're going to jump into our first chart of interest. So we're actually going to focus on pound yen first, as this has appeared on tables for some time, and then we're going to focus on pound Swiss as well, because this is the currency that we focused on towards the end of last week. So let's head over to that. We've got pound yen here on the daily chart. Now you can see here I've posted up this red line. So the 14th of October was when the pound yen featured on the live Forex Strength and Weakness table. So if I was to open it up here, go to our rolling Forex Strength and Weakness tables, which is basically the last 30 days of data. If I go all the way down to the 14th of October, you can see that pound yen starts to feature here. Pound did feature previously to that, but yen didn't feature, only on the sort of day traders side of things on the day before. It then appeared on the Trend Traders, which then added confluence. So we had Friday the 14th of October as the sort of point where there was confluence between the two tables, offering some opportunities. Now price closed around the 166.25 mark, and since then price has rallied 580 pips from that point. So if you manage to find some confluence, we talked about the 165 handle being an area of support, so if you manage to find entries around 165, then you would have looked at that sort of move through there, which was actually 720 pips. Now let's look at the latest narrative for the pound yen price. So I actually just start on a monthly time frame and zoom out. The reason why I'm doing this is because I want to look at where the bigger picture is telling us that price could go to. So if we're looking at it from a monthly perspective, we can see that price has a long-term trend line through here. So we have our anchor point, we have our formation point, and we're looking to see if price is going to come and test the trend line for resistance. So that's going to be our area of interest for price to come into in this monthly chart. If price continues to trade to the upside like the Forex Strength and Weakness table suggest, then we should see price push towards this trend line resistance, where we could see some selling pressure coming through at that point if price holds at the T1. We can also see that there was another long-term trend line running through here. Again, we had our anchor point, we had our formation point, we had our T1 and T2 test. We also then had a T3 test where price closed back above the trend line support and prices rallied to the upside from that. So everything's still pointing north here for the monthly chart, especially with price considering the move towards that resistance level. You can see here as well on chart partner over here that we've got market scene risk on yen. It is weak at the moment, so we're expecting and anticipating a continuation to the upside there. So monthly pointing to the upside. Let's have a look at the weekly time frame, the weekly narrative. Again, we can see that trend line running through here where we had multiple tests. We can see that the 161.60 handle was an area of interest as well. We had this level running through here, as well as the 200 moving average. So price trading above the 200 moving average. Again, a strong sign that we're going to see further upside to this market in particular, with that trend line being the area of interest, which is around about the 74 handle, 174 handle. And if I look left at that point as well, you can see that it features a little bit of support and resistance just over here. So if I was just to drop that 174 in here like this, for instance, we come over to here. So that's saying 175.60. If I just go to 175 actually, and what we're going to do is just ray that to the right hand side, you can see that it goes into combination with that trend line there. If I just pop on a line chart, you can see all those interactions there. We have resistance, we have a breakthrough point here, and then price uses it as support. So price could come into that area through there. So I'm actually going to add a label onto that area there so that we can just keep an eye on that sort of point. So if I just pop a little label there, we're going to go to 175. Okay, that's going to be our point of interest from if price can extend to the upside here. Okay, so if we go down to a lower time frame, then what can we see is the lower time frame narrative? Well, we talked about a couple of opportunities recently where we talked about price breaking above the 168 handle, for instance, and also a retest of the 165 handle, which was this previous structure area looking left. And that did act as support. So we had the Bank of Japan intervention. That was very short-lived. Price then recovered that move. And then we traded above these recent highs as well, which is, again, something that we suggested could invite further buying pressure. Now, if we are going to see that weekly continue to push to the upside, I would expect price to continue to trend higher. So what we can see now, for instance, is that price is trading higher. We're making that higher low pattern, so we could expect another higher low to come in around this area of interest, which is going to be where price found some resistance recently, which is around the 170.50 handle. So if price was to pull back into that area and we found buyers again, we could expect price to move towards that 175 handle that we've just looked at from the higher time frame. Right then, if we go back to the live Forex strength and weakness tables and just scroll all the way to the top, we can see that we also have pound Swiss. So we're just going to cover pound Swiss because that was a chart that we featured recently as well. And again, I've put the red line on here to show you when we last looked at pound yen, which was pound Swiss, sorry, which was the 18th of October. So that's when they appeared on the tables, and you can see from the close of play there, price has rallied over 330 pips. Now, in our recent video last week, we actually talked about pound Swiss breaking through these highs here at the one spot, 114.70, for a move up to the next level of resistance, which was that 115.50, which would have been a nice 80 pip move. So first of all, though, let's go jump up to our monthly. Let's just, again, bring in the narrative of what's going on in our higher time frame, where you can see that price is very much in a downward move. Okay, we're in a downward trend when the market is making those lower lows. We're breaking through structure points here, for instance. However, we are potentially in a retracement phase, and that can cause an upward trend to form in the market on lower time frames. So if I was to go down to the daily, for instance, and just zoom out, you can see that price is forming those higher lows, okay, in the market, making those steps to the upside. So if that monthly narrative is going to play out, I'd expect this move to continue. And again, you can see that if I was just to go up to the weekly for a second, we can see that the 120 1.21 handle is the next sort of area of interest. Again, we have, we'll zoom out as well, we have trendline resistance here, where we have the let me just zoom out again, sorry, where we have the sort of anchor point in here, formation, T1, T2 test, T3, T4, T5. So are we going to get a T6 test? And if that T6 holds at this 1.21 handle, could we expect some further downside at that point? So like I said, if I go to the daily time frame, I'd be expecting price to continue to make those higher low formations, and you can see we've recently traded above the 1.14 handle. We had all this support in here, resistance. Are we going to find support there again potentially? Now, price is continuing to move higher. We're in the impulsive phase at the moment, so the likelihood of a pullback just yet might not be on the cards here, because what we'll probably see if I go down to the 4 hour is the 4 hour trend continues some more. And again, you can see if I just zoom out, we have our anchor formation, our T1 test, T2, T3. Are we going to get a T4 test, potentially back at the highs that we pointed out in last week's video, which was the 1.1470 handle? Okay, so this is what we looked at last week. This area in here, we were talking about these previous highs acting as support. So we talked about the 1.14 handle, as well as the trend line acting as support in here, but price didn't come back to that area. Instead, we had a retest of these previous structure highs, which we then looked at the anticipation of a breakout as well, which both occurred. So if you took any kind of position in here, targets from this area was at that 115.50 handle, which if you managed to catch the low was around about 100 pip move, 80 to 100 pip move, depending on how you entered the market. If you entered here, for instance, you would have looked at more of an 80 pip move. Now, the way I'd look at this market now is we are getting, again, some kind of consolidation here, some very low ranging candles. They can often lead to large impulses. So if price was to trade above the previous sort of highs here, which is the 115.70, that could add some fuel to the impulsive phase again. However, I do like the idea of price coming back to the trend line and previous structure highs, because we have multiple confluence points there. So if we were to see price move back, let's just say to the 115 handle, where we have all this kind of resistance over here, that could then offer some support in and around the 115 handle. Nice sort of price action around there, with a sort of, that would be a significant test as well. So it would be a T4, maybe T5 test at that point as well, which could then offer a potential move to the upside here for pound Swissy. So I'm going to leave it there. I hope that made sense and hope you enjoyed that video. If you are really considering adding strength and weakness into your Forex trading, then please head over to charlesclifton.co.uk. Here you can set yourself up with a trial period for £1, see how the tables can really enhance your trading. Thanks for watching this video, and I look forward to speaking to you soon.